Welcome to a deep dive. You ready to jump into this Hedera Hashgraph thing?
Absolutely. It's got a lot of buzz,
Mm.
but we're going beyond the hype, right? Straight to their white paper.
Exactly. No marketing fluff here. We want to see if they can back it up.
It's a smart approach they take, leading with the problems they're aiming to solve.
Yeah, those 5 big challenges. Kind of sets the stage. Like, we get it. There's baggage with these technologies.
Right off the bat, performance. Everyone's felt how slow some of these systems can be.
Makes you wonder, like, if I'm sending a payment, do I want to wait 3 days for it to go through?
Exactly. So they're tackling that head on. But it's bigger than just, make it fast.
Oh, for sure. Think about instant transactions, micropayments that actually make sense, global systems that just work.
Which brings up the next obvious point, right? What good is speed if it's not secure?
Challenge number 2 there. And that's where their asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance comes in, right?
Yeah, and that's a mouthful, I know. But think of it like, imagine a digital fortress. Yeah, protecting your data.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Even if a few guards get tricked, the fortress itself, it still holds. That's the idea.
And that's what they mean by aBFT.
That's the gist.
Yeah.
And they go a step further. They've actually got mathematical proof backing up this security.
It's not just trust us, it's safe. They're like, here's the math, check it out.
Which is reassuring, right?
Yeah.
Because we've seen systems where that trust was, well, misplaced.
Big time. Okay, so we've got speed, we've got security, but who's calling the shots?
And that leads right into their governing council, which
Mhm.
is tied to challenge number 3, governance.
I bet someone out there's thinking, wait, a council? Isn't that like the opposite of decentralized?
Right, it's the first thing that comes to mind. And to their credit, they address it directly.
Instead of dodging it.
They're making the case that a well-structured council, it actually brings stability,
Yeah.
prevents the chaos we've seen elsewhere.
Without, like, becoming too centralized.
That's the balancing act. It's like, imagine a group of experts,
Yeah.
from different fields, all with skin in the game, making sure things run smoothly.
So no more of those fork-in-the-road dramas we've seen.
That's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it plays directly into challenge number 4, stability.
Mm.
Because businesses, developers, they need to know the rules aren't changing constantly.
Can't build a house on a foundation that keeps moving, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And then, of course, there's the elephant in the room, challenge 5, regulatory compliance. And it's huge, right? It's not just about following the rules today. It's about building a system that can adapt to whatever comes next.
Globally, too. Different countries, different rules. A nightmare, honestly.
It's a huge hurdle. Okay, so they've laid out the battlefield. It's a messy one. But here's where it gets really interesting. Because Hedera is claiming they can overcome all this. And then some.
Yeah, when I saw the performance claims, I was like, hold on, are they serious? Hundreds of thousands of transactions per second.
It's mind-boggling, right? To put it in perspective, think Visa network levels of volume, but on a decentralized system.
I mean, how is that even possible?
That's the million-dollar question, and it all boils down to their core innovation.
Yeah.
The hash graph. See, unlike your typical blockchain, which relies on proof of work,
Which is a whole other can of worms. Energy consumption, the whole deal.
exactly, hash graph achieves consensus in a totally different way. Think of it like a super efficient gossip protocol.
Gossip protocol. Okay.
Everyone shares info about transactions, but it's secure and it's unbelievably fast because they've ditched the proof of work bottleneck. That's how they hit those speeds.
So that's their secret sauce, this Hashgraph thing.
It's a fundamental difference. And the white paper really hammers that home, how this consensus mechanism is potentially game-changing.
But like you said, speed's only half the battle. We got to
Yeah.
circle back to that digital fortress, that aBFT thing.
Sure.
Because if these transactions are lightning fast, they better be secure too, right? So it's not just about trusting the tech, it's trusting the math behind it, which is a whole other level of confidence, right?
Absolutely. Like your data, your transactions, they're not just protected by promises or hopes. They're protected by, well, provable mathematical concepts.
That's got to be reassuring for anyone who's, a little wary of the whole digital world.
Especially with all the hacks and breaches we hear about constantly.
Right. Makes you think twice. But okay, so they've covered speed, they've covered security on a technical level, but then the white paper takes it a step further.
Yeah, they start talking about real-world applications, and this is where the mirror network comes into play.
We touched on it earlier, but it's like a parallel network, right? Takes the
That's-
load off the main one.
Exactly. It allows developers to build on Hedera without, sacrificing speed or security. That's the idea.
But which is huge, because we've talked about the limitations of some blockchains in handling like massive amounts of data.
Oh, absolutely. Scaling is it's the holy grail for a lot of these technologies.
And that's what makes a mirror network so interesting.
It opens up a whole world of possibilities. Imagine, for instance, secure medical records,
Okay, I'm listening.
but
Fair.
accessible only to, authorized individuals.
Mhm.
Yet they can be easily shared between healthcare providers.
No more faxing documents back and forth.
Exactly. No more incompatible systems.
Streamlining that whole process would be incredible.
That's the kind of future they're painting a picture of. And it goes beyond healthcare, right?
Yeah.
Think about supply chains. Imagine tracking a product, like from the very beginning, the raw materials, all the way to the store shelf.
With complete transparency.
And certainty.
Yeah.
You know where it's been every step of the way.
Oh.
Or even voting systems. What if we could make them virtually tamper-proof?
Yeah. Secure elections, that'd be something else.
It's all on the table with this kind of tech. And that's what's so compelling about the white paper.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to think big. They're tackling real-world problems with a new approach. And the potential impact is, well, it's huge.
But even with all that potential, they still have to overcome some serious challenges, right? It's not a guaranteed win.
Oh, absolutely not. Every groundbreaking technology, it faces its own set of hurdles. And Hedera is no different.
So what are some of the biggest hurdles they'll have to clear?
Well, for one, they're the new kid on the block.
Going up against the big names,
Yeah.
Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Those guys have been around. They've got the name recognition, the huge communities. Hedera's got to break through that.
Mhm.
It's not enough to just have the cool tech.
It's like that saying, right? Build it and they will come. Doesn't always work that way.
Nope. They need to build the ecosystem, attract developers, get people using it.
Which is a tough one, right? It's the chicken and the egg. Developers want to see users. Users want to see applications.
Exactly. And to be fair to them, the white paper acknowledges this. They talk about the need for community building, strategic partnerships.
Yeah.
It's not like they're blind to it, but it's a hurdle nonetheless. And then there's the tech side of things.
Oh, right, because even if it's as amazing as they say, it's still new.
Hashgraph, it's elegant, don't get me wrong, but it's a different way of thinking for a lot of developers who are used to traditional blockchain systems.
So there's a learning curve.
There is. It's like, imagine learning a new programming language, right? Exciting, but it takes time. And Hedera, they seem to get that. They emphasize good documentation, making the tools easy to use, having a supportive community, all important stuff.
Yeah, got a handhold a little bit in the beginning.
Especially if you want people to switch over from something they're already comfortable with. But here's what gives me hope. They seem committed to this idea of constant improvement. It's not just, okay, we made Hashgraph, we're done.
Which would be a mistake, because this whole world moves so fast.
Exactly. They're already looking at new features, ways to enhance the mirror network, all kinds of use cases. And that's crucial because what's cutting edge today, it's obsolete tomorrow, right? So seeing that they're thinking ahead, that's a good sign.
It's like the finish line keeps moving.
All the time.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. What's the takeaway for our listeners?
Well, I think you've gotten a sneak peek at something that could be really big. And yeah, there are challenges, but the potential here, it's undeniable. Faster, more secure, more scalable systems like this, they could change everything. Industries, how we interact online, maybe even how we think about trust and security in the digital world.
It's like we're on the edge of something.
We are, and that's the exciting part. Whether Hedera is the one, well, that's the million-dollar question, but the ideas here are important. And now you're ahead of the curve, you're asking the right questions, and that's what this deep dive is all about.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the one to build the next big thing on Hedera.
Wouldn't that be something?
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Catch you next time.